What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So we're gonna check out Hulk Hogan's death got people moving crazy by none other than the homie Chiseled Adonis. Shout out to Chiseled, bruh. I appreciate his wrestling takes and his wrestling opinion and, you know, his knowledge of wrestling as a whole. This is actually one of, you know, our personal friends. So when I saw that he made this video, I definitely wanted to kind of, you know, see what he had to say about all of this. Because, you know, be honest with you, social media is still kind of in just this crazy state right now. Like, people have their opinions on Hulk Hogan and they're letting it be known in full force on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. A lot of it may be positive and showing some respect for Hulk Hogan, and then there's a lot where it is just toxicity. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how he felt about this whole situation, you know. And once again, shout out to Chisel. I'm going to link down the video down below. If you're not subscribed to him, it's your first time actually potentially checking out one of his videos, go check him out, bro. He makes some great wrestling videos, and he also makes some great not WWE, football commentary. I don't know if he's going to be doing it again this year, but his football commentary is top notch, man. NFL commentary. So we're gonna check this out. Let's see what the homie Chisel has to say, man. What's going down, man? I ain't gonna lie to you, I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm gonna be honest, that's still one of my favorite RKOs because he just fell like an old man. I'm sorry. He just
Alright, so boom. As we all know, the legendary, immortal, although he's not necessarily immortal anymore since he's since passed away, Hulk Hogan passed away yesterday.
Yep, that's about Chisel. He gonna get his little jokes out. He is an immortal. For real, we seen he's actually immortal. His legacy probably, you know, it's tarnished, but that will live on forever most likely. But him, nah, that's GG's.
Yesterday at 71 years old. And let me first address the elephant in the room. Hulk Hogan had his outstandings. There's no denying that. We heard that secretly recorded tape in 2007 laced with racist remarks.
Yeah.
To the point where I was fucking like a son. Would have been hanging out. I got holding hands there on Twitter, getting close to the fight for him. Okay. I'm not a double standard kind of guy. I'm a racist to a point. You know, there's when it comes to nice people, you know,
We all are that way.
yeah, like when it comes to nice people, you can't.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck shit. I don't care if fucking football player or basketball player to have a game. If we're gonna talk to centers, let's get the rich on. This kid is a multi-billionaire, but
that ultimately got released in 2015 that led to his subsequent release from WWE and then ultimately getting wiped from everything WWE for a temporary period of time. Like, I remember on the Hall of Fame, you couldn't find him there. On the WWE network, if you searched Hulk Hogan, it would say like nothing found, but his segments were still on there, but he essentially got like the Benoit treatment, but that's not obviously the same thing, but you get what it is that I'm saying here, right? And Hulk Hogan had his outstandings.
Yep.
But
Sure
with
did.
all that being said, here's something that I just cannot wrap my mind around. Yes, you are entitled to feel however it is that you feel about it.
Yeah.
You do not, under any circumstance, have to feel bad about his passing. However, I think it's very, very, very odd that there is a large percentage of the populace who consume, whether it be wrestling or anything in pop culture, who felt the need to go and police how people are supposed to feel about it. You got friends, family, co-workers, fans paying their respects to Hulk Hogan, and in the comment sections, in the tweet threads, whatever the case is, people are attacking them for paying their respects. That makes absolutely no sense to me. It's one thing to sit over here and celebrate, you know, somebody's passing, which is still insane because we're all gonna have to face the music at one point regardless, right? So it's still crazy to me that somebody would celebrate somebody's death. But to go along the lines of going and attacking people for paying their respects is crazy to me.
And that's the thing. That's where for me, I draw the line at. Like, you're entitled to feel how you want to feel. You don't have no sympathy or empathy for his passing. Fine, whatever. It is what it is. But then to go out there and to really be dancing on his grave in a sense, even though for me, I'm good on it. I kind of stay away from that type of stuff. All right, cool. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I mean, it's the internet. You figure that's going to happen regardless. But then to go at people who had a personal relationship with Hogan, or, you know, just want to show their respects, and then to try to chastise them and come at them like they're horrible individuals for trying to show any type of respect to the family or for, you know, for his passing. That's where it should be like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? The most I've ever done in this realm is, and if you guys remember this, it was a while back earlier this year, I definitely wasn't the biggest fan of people, you know, essentially waiting for his death and being excited about it. I wasn't. I don't really like that when, you know, people do that, you know, like, or fans or whatever the case. I'm not the biggest fan of people doing that because this is like, what are we doing? That's kind of weird. And fast forward to now, it's happening. And it's still all weird to me personally. It's not for me. You want to react how you want to react, cool. But at the end of the day, we all got to die. Every last one of us is going to die at some point. The question is, how would you feel if people found out about some stuff that you've done on the low and said on the low? How would you feel? How would you feel if people just started mocking your death and talking trash about you when you're 6 feet under? And granted, I'm not excusing Hulk Hogan for what he said and done. This is the consequences of some of the things that you say and do in your life, because people will never forget. So these are the consequences. But also at the same time, I don't think you have to move with that type of toxicity, especially since they're already gone. So, but that's just my personal opinion.
Crazy to me. Because again, you can feel how you feel about him. You don't need to say anything. Or if you're like, I don't really care too much about his passing, cool.
Yeah.
You want to get your jokes off? All right.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
There was some funny tweets that were shared. People had a tweet of like a video vignette from Hogan falling or whatever the case. Like, oh, this is Hogan entering the afterlife. Or they have other ones that said, oh, Hogan, they chose to have Hogan cremated because he didn't want to be laying.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
He refused to be buried or something like that. They had jokes.
That's
for
wild, bro.
Hilarious jokes or whatever the case was, right? And that's all well and cool. But there are some folks who literally spent the bulk share of yesterday attacking people for paying their respects. If you happen to be a black wrestler or executive or anything of that nature that shared, you know, your sadness for the passing of Hogan, people was underneath your comment section sharing photos of Samuel L. Jackson's character in Django. I forget the name of the character. I want to say Steven, but I could be wrong. So somebody let me know in the comment section, fact check me on that. And then they were sharing gifts of like Uncle Ruckus and stuff. I'm like, bro, you mean to tell me that if somebody who's unaware of the tapes, or you're aware of the tapes, you can't take away the feeling that you had got, whether you had been a child or maybe a young adult when Hogan was in his heyday. Because the one thing that I don't quite wrap my mind around, even further, I can't even say the one thing, it's another thing that I can't wrap my mind around, is the revisionist history of what people have been tweeting. They're making it seem as if Hogan is not a Mount Rushmore professional wrestler in the industry.
Yeah.
Hogan was amongst the biggest stars. WWF ultimately doesn't become WWE, and it doesn't survive without Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I said this back in January or February when Cena had turned heel. I think it was maybe March 1st, whenever the Elimination Chamber just so happened to be. When Cena turned heel, I went on the record and said this is the greatest heel turn in WWE history. But Hogan's heel turn is the greatest heel turn in the history of professional wrestling.
And it's kind of hard to argue that. It's kind of hard to argue that. And once again, we see what's happening. Like you said, people have revisionist history now because he's dead, and, you know, we know what he said in the past and all this other stuff, right? I get that. I get people don't want to acknowledge the accolades or the impact that he had on professional wrestling, but whether you like the guy or not, whether you respect the guy or not, his influence was that important. It was. Just be honest with you. Some of y'all favorites looked up to Hulk Hogan at one point or another. Now, obviously, things can change and you can lose that support for someone or wanting to support someone. You're allowed to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I hate to be that guy. I do. But he was that important to the business. And this is coming from someone that didn't really watch Hogan like that, because that's before my time. But I knew who he was, and I knew how impactful he was to the business as a whole. Like, once you start watching wrestling and you start to really figure out things, yes, you understand, oh, he's that pivotal and important to the business as a whole. Like, we all knew, you know what I'm saying, once he turned heel in WCW, like, that was like one of the craziest things that had ever happened in wrestling at that point. So everybody was, you know, enjoying, well, not everybody, but a lot of people, you know, were really big fans of Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, NWO version of Hogan. Like, people loved that shit. People loved that shit when he was in WCW. So it's just like, we get it. He said some stuff, made some mistakes, but you can't take away his importance to the business as a whole. That's the thing.
Period. And furthermore, you can't make it seem as if Hogan wasn't cool. When Hulkamania was at its heyday, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, albeit the man was, you know, cheating, doing the steroids behind, you know, closed doors. But all that being said, Hogan was still a complete phenomenon. He was the first wrestler to really break into pop culture, the mainstream, and took wrestling to heights that nobody had saw up until that point, until maybe you got Stone Cold.
Yeah.
So let's not make it seem as if Hogan wasn't cool. The NWO, although the machismo and the swagger could have came by way of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, because they were ultimately cool as well. But let's call a spade a spade. When you were a kid or you were a young adult, depending on how old you were when Hogan was in his heyday, WCW, part of the NWO, you were probably spray painting your championship replica as well. Or if you had a toy belt or something like that. Everybody was doing the For Life and everything. Let's not make it seem as if Hogan wasn't cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird how people just want to go and rewrite history just because they don't like somebody. And again, I'm not sitting here defending Hogan. The way I feel about Hogan is the moment that I heard the tape, like, you know what? Man's not a cool person. Okay, cool. You may not be a great human being. That doesn't take away from what it was that you done did in the wrestling ring. Because yes, I understand there's a lot of controversy from separating the art from the artist. But again, let's be transparent. There's probably a number of people who are out there, even some of you who may be watching this video right now, your favorite wrestlers, stars, whatever the case may be in entertainment or anything that you look up to, they got outstandings as well. And you'll turn a blind eye to it because you're, you know, a big fan of them, or you really.
And I'm glad he brought that point up, because I'm telling you this now, all these people that have this type of animosity towards Hulk Hogan and stuff like that, I'm willing to bet some of their favorite wrestlers that are still alive, some of their favorite entertainers, some of their favorite rappers, some of their favorite musicians, some of their favorite celebrities have said and done something that has either came out and they just gave them a pass, or hasn't came out, they don't even know it. Don't even know it. So we sit up here and we hold these individuals to such a high standard, and we always forget they are like you and me. They just are in the limelight. So what makes you think they don't say some wild stuff, or have done some wild stuff, or have made some mistakes that many others would try to cancel them for? It just so happened that his was so big and egregious, and he's one of the biggest wrestlers ever, that obviously people, you know, that's the one thing they're going to harp on and stay on that, which goes back to my point earlier. There are consequences for the things you say and do, and people do not forget and will never forget. Some people will hold something over you for the rest of your life, even when they probably doing 10 times worse, but because you're famous and because they want to have this moral high point or this moral compass all of a sudden to prove a point on social media, they're going to ridicule you for that. And they will never let it go. Ever. So I'm glad he did bring that point up, man.
Respect what it is that they do. So you'll accept some from, those who you like, but you'll reject those who you don't like. So there's a lot of, hypocrites amongst us.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. I get it, right? But I just don't understand how people are going to sit over here and try to sit on high moral ground and attack people for simply paying their respects. Ric Flair was on TMZ crying.
Yeah.
Crying over the loss of Hulk Hogan. Now, albeit they may not have been great friends, they've had their outstandings as well, but this is still a peer of his.
Yeah.
Flair and Hogan were the biggest things in wrestling in the late 80s, very early 90s. People knew when you think professional wrestling, it's Hulk Hogan, it's Ric Flair. People was attacking this man for crying.
Yep.
They was laughing at this man for crying.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, you should be happy that he's gone. What? Like, I put out a tweet saying I'd pay good money to see what Iron Sheik would have said, today upon the passing of Hulk Hogan. Because again, like I said earlier, everybody's going to make their jokes. You could have yourself a good laugh, whatever the case is, right? But when you personally make it your mission to go and attack folks for paying their respects and, condolences, it's crazy to me. Like, you have active talent that were putting out tweets.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea Green had to go delete a tweet and explain herself.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid, bro. I saw that shit. I'm like, bro, she let her pay her respects. She clearly, it's one of those things where she had to explain, like, she doesn't support racism and all this other stuff. I'm like, bro, you fucking, oh my God, bro. Some of y'all have this moral compass when you want to have it. Shut the fuck up. That's how I feel, bro. Like, bruh, shut up. She has a reason why she said what she said. Now she's retracting statements because people are trying to pressure. Who gives a fuck? Stop it. Stop it, bro. Like, that's weird, bro. Let her show her respect for the business that she's a part of. Doesn't mean that she supports the racist. She just honestly just being like, hey, rest in peace to him, or, prayers out to his family and friends, whatever the case may be. Like, you cannot like someone but still show respect. You want to know what that's called? Being human. Being human. Being able to sometimes be the bigger person. Even if you don't even want to say anything, that's fine. If you don't want to show no respect or love, that's fine. But just going at people for doing that because they're human beings, like, a lot of y'all act like y'all are just so superior and never do anything wrong. I promise you, if we had a look into some of y'all phone conversations and text messages and deleted tweets and all this other stuff, people would probably be like, what are you? You're an evil human being with some of the stuff that y'all say, and then you prove it here. Like, that was kind of wild. They literally was coming at Chelsea because she just wanted to show respect, bro. Like, cut it. Relax. Just chill, bro.
And you have to give some sort of preamble. Oh, well, although I didn't support what was... You got to walk on eggshells to pay respects now? Bro, what are we doing?
That's crazy.
Like, it's getting ridiculous now. People are going so above and beyond to where every single comment section, and you already know, there's people who's probably sending DMs to friends and family of Hulk Hogan, attacking them or whatever the case is. Because there's always going to be a percentage of people who take things way too far. But I find it very odd how comfortable people are operating like this online. So I don't
crazy.
Get it, bro. I don't get it. Like, you're not going to sit over here and make it seem as if Hulk Hogan wasn't a star. You're not going to sit over here and make it seem as if Hulk Hogan was never cool. You're not going to sit over here and make it seem as if, Hulk Hogan wasn't who he was in the industry just because you don't like him. And again, if you don't like him, that's warranted. You can feel how you feel about him.
Understandable.
But you can't go over there and police, how people are supposed to feel about him. And then lastly, just something that I wanted to throw in there as well. maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he gave his life to Christ or whatever the case is. Now, I don't know how much he may have changed his life in the last couple of years or whatever. I would hope that he made peace with those who felt wronged by him. Yes, he could have done a way better job apologizing for what it was that he had stated, because when the tapes went public, he did apologize. But it's one of those situations where the apology doesn't feel as if you're actually genuinely doing it. You're more coming out and saying that you're disgusted by what it was that you did. You're embarrassed by what was stated on the tapes simply because it came out and you got caught. Had you never gotten caught,
we would never know.
Get in front of it and come clean about the way that you felt and the things that you said.
Most likely.
And there's people who had worked with him who had said, no, he's not this type of person. Maybe it was just an isolated sort of a moment that he done did it, or there was numerous different times behind closed doors that he may have said the N-word or whatever the case is, what have you. All those people who have the personal relationships with him, I'll leave it to them to go and speak their story regarding him. But I can tell you this much, even as somebody who, I was a big fan of Hogan when I was young. As I've become older, and then the tapes come out, whatever the case is, like, all right, I'm cool off on it.
Simple.
I'm not gonna sit over here and celebrate this man passing away, bro.
Thank you.
That's
not
just
doing
crazy
it.
to me. And
Not
then,
doing it.
Again, folks going and attacking people
Nope.
because they're paying condolences. Like, what are we doing? You have
Weird.
folks who's legitimately right now reaching out. I think it's on Twitter, probably right now, at the taping of this video, right now. There's people who are trying to locate where SmackDown is going to be. And I think it's, Ohio or something tonight? Somebody, again, you can let me know, because it come off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember where SmackDown is later tonight. But there are people talking about, I'm going to go see if I can make it to the show just to boo.
And you want to know what's crazy? Because he obviously filmed this before SmackDown. They didn't. They showed respect. And I know some people are going to feel some type of way, but they didn't. And if those that didn't want to show respect, they just didn't say nothing. They left it at that, bro. It's crazy. He literally, the last time we seen him on TV was the Netflix debut, and he got booed. We're damn near almost in August. He passed away, and he got cheered. Because people wanted to show respect. And hey, me personally, I can respect that. I can respect that. They didn't come out there and try to, take over the show. No, people showed respect. Because at the end of the day, bro, you like him or not, he still was a person at the end of the day. He still had family. He still had people that cared about him that was on that stage. People are entitled to feel how they want to feel, of course. But there's a time and place for certain things. And I'm glad they didn't go out there and just start booing and stuff. They showed respect. And, I can appreciate that, bro. I know some of y'all gonna feel some type of way, but who gives a fuck, bro? Y'all be fine.
Just to boo. Where they're gonna go and pay tribute to him. Like, the last time we saw Hogan on WWE television was, what was it, Netflix premiere? He came out there to go promote his American beer, a deal that should have been given to Steve Austin, because obviously that makes sense, but that's not what we're here to talk about, right? He went over there to go promote. He went out there with Jimmy Hart, and they got booed out of the stadium.
Yeah.
It was deafening boos. But then now he's passed. You about to go and purchase a ticket, not to enjoy the show, solely to go and boo and record yourself booing for attention.
That's so weird.
You don't think something's wrong psychologically, bro?
That's so weird,
this shit
bro.
Not weird to you? It's not weird?
It's definitely weird.
Like, we've lost the plot, bro. It's bizarre to me, fam.
Plot
so
is
I'll
gone.
say this much. To Hulk Hogan, R.I.P., he lived and left a legacy in professional wrestling. You could feel how you feel about him personally, and again, that's warranted. But that does not give you the clearance to not only celebrate somebody's passing, but then to go and attack folks who's paying their condolences. And lastly, I saw folks on Twitter saying this is just a trial run for when Vince passes away. Like,
yeah. I'm telling, and I said this not to be funny, but to be truthful. This is only the tip of the iceberg. I promise you. Whenever Vince does die, and I'm not wishing for him to die or anytime soon, I'm not even trying to put that out there. But whenever he does pass, I am telling you this now. What y'all seen today, or this past weekend, it's only a fraction of how many people are going to go ultra mega rogue and say some of the most wildest, most disrespectful stuff you could possibly ever hear on someone's passing. And Vince has made plenty of mistakes. But, bruh, it's going to be on a whole nother level. I promise you. I promise you it's going to be on a whole nother level.
Nobody takes shit serious no more. And again, jokes is cool. But when you back to 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 back post, everything is, you're trying to capitalize off of this? Yeah, that's a little weird, bro. That's a little weird. So to Hulk Hogan, R.I.P. fam. R.I.P.
Hey man, this was a dope video. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a like, as y'all should as well. Shout out to the homie Chisel. Hey man, look. At the end of the day, bro. At the end of the day, you ain't gotta like Hulk Hogan as a person. You don't even have to, be the biggest fan. You don't even have to have empathy or whatever the case may be of his passing. I just think once you start getting to the point of just really going into your bag of the hatred and then just really laying it on with the jokes, even if the jokes is funny, but then you just keep going and then you going at other people for wanting to show compassion, at least wanting to, respect his legacy as much as they possibly can. Also being aware of what he's done and said in the past as well, but still want to have that decency as human beings. That once you start attacking people that's trying to do that, at least the bare minimum, then it's like, all right, now you really have lost the plot, because now it's not even about what he said in the past. Now it's part of the trend. It's part of the trend. Like, some of y'all are going insane because other people don't have that same type of hate that you got. Stupid, bro. This is where society's heading, bro. This is where society's heading, man. So it's really unfortunate. All you can do is pray for people. Pray that God heals their heart. Pray that, they don't ever have to go through what Hulk Hogan has unfortunately have to go through in this situation, man. That's why I said in my video, my live stream talking about it, make sure you live your life to the fullest, but you live a good and honest life, because the things that you do while you're alive can ultimately be brought back up when you're dead. And you want to make sure you try to leave this world with a positive legacy, something where people can remember you in a positive manner. We're not perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, but you want to be able to leave this earth better than when you came into it. So, but this was a really dope video. Shout out to the homie Chisel. I'm going to link down the video down below. If you haven't already subscribed to the homie, go subscribe to him. Show him some love. I appreciate all love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking it with me. See you on the next one. Peace.